Hello, my name is Nancy Strickland, and in the next 7 minutes, I'm going to talk about the controls that you'll have available to use in your Windows Phone 7 Silverlight applications. First, I'll let you know which existing Silverlight controls will be available for Windows Phone apps. They'll come from these two namespaces here. And then which controls aren't supported, and then we'll see a demo of using some of the new controls. First of all of these Silverlight controls and more are supported. You'll find most of them right here in the toolbox, so you can drag and drop them into your app, and you can instantiate others if you need them. These two controls are only available in Windows Phone applications. They're used in navigation, and we'll see both of these again in a couple of minutes in the demo. These are the Silverlight controls that are not supported in Windows Phone. For the first one here, the label, you can often use a text block, but of course they're not equivalent, so you'll need to do some testing and make sure that your application works the way you want it to. Then the last two controls in the first column are the Open and Save file dialogs. What replaces those in Windows Phone is what's called isolated storage, and there's another video in this series that addresses isolated storage, so I won't discuss that in any more detail here. The middle column are controls from Silverlight 4 that can't be used, but you can create your own version if you'd like. Then the three in the next column, the combo box, tooltip, and scroll bar, actually can be used in the application. They're just not available from the toolbox. But scroll bar and tooltip aren't usually appropriate for touch-based systems, and the combo box has the disadvantage of not being themed. So if you want it to match other controls for consistency of look and feel, you're going to have to do that yourself. So you'll want to use some caution before using any of these three, because even if they're available, they're not supported or recommended. And then the two controls in the last column, frame and page, are the ones that have been replaced by the phone-specific controls that we talked about on the previous slide. Let's look at them a little further. The top-level container control is the phone application frame. An application can have only one frame. It has a client area to display an application, and it can also show a system tray and an application bar that's covered in another video in this series. Each phone application page holds content. You create as many different pages as you want and then navigate to those pages from the frame. A page has a title and it can have its own application bar. To use the navigation system, you first create your XAML content pages, and then you code for navigation when the user clicks a button or a hyperlink or manipulates some other control. You use static methods of the navigation service class to do that. The first one here is navigate, and its arguments are the new URI to navigate to and what kind of URI it is, relative or absolute or undetermined, which is what this is in this case that it shows. And then the second method here is go back, and of course it returns to whatever page you came here from. There's also a go forward method. Okay, now let's go on and use some of this in a demo. So here I'm ready to start a new project in Visual Studio 2010. I want to create a Windows Phone app, but to get set up for the demo, you'll have to have already downloaded some developer tools. The information on how to do that is in another video in this series called Getting Started, so I'm assuming that you've already done that setup. Just like in any other app, you're going to drag controls from the toolbox onto your design surface and then code for their events. And most of the controls will behave like you expect them to from your previous experience with Silverlight, or for that matter, WPF or WinForms. So I'm not going to go over each of them in this very short video. I'm just going to pick some of the things that are different. I'm going to double-click on the button right now to get its click event so I can show you a message box. And now I'll run it. I'm going to click on the button now so the message box will show, and I want you to listen for the sound. Did you hear that? And you see what the message box looks like, and I just click OK here to close it. Now I want to stop debugging and go back to my project and show you how to write navigation code, but I'm not going to close the emulator. I'm just going to minimize it to save time on my next run. I'll go back to my design surface, and the first thing I'm going to do is rename this page. I'm going to go down to the properties here and change its text property to main page. Now I'm going to add a second page to navigate to, so I'm right-clicking the project, Add, New Item, and the new item I'm picking is a Windows Phone portrait page, and I need to give it a name. I'm going to call it Page 2. And I'm going to change its title also. Select it, and call it Page 2. Now I'm going back to my main page, and I'm going to drag a hyperlink onto it. And now over in its properties, I'm going to change the content to say Page 2. Then I'm going to double-click on that to get its click event and put in the code that I need to navigate to Page 2. Now I need a URI here, and I'm going to instantiate one, giving it the path to my XAML page that I want it to navigate to. And that path to the XAML page starts at the project level. So the kind of URI that this is a relative URI. And that's all there is to it. Now let's look at how to do back functionality. I'll go to Page 2 and first show you that in one sense you don't have to implement back functionality because this hardware button is required on all Windows Phone hardware and it automatically handles the back functionality for you. But if you want to write code to do it, let me show you that I'll drag a button here, double click it, and write navigation code to go back. It's extremely easy. The function is just go back. And it doesn't need an argument because what it goes back to will be whatever page you were on. And that's it. I'll run it. Here comes my emulator. I'll click the hyperlink button, which takes me to Page 2. Click this back button, which takes me back to the main page. So that's a quick look at how to use Windows Phone controls in a Silverlight phone app. I'll put a copy of the code up on my blog for download, and as I post new videos, I announce them on Twitter. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.